Hey guys, welcome back to another video. This is actually the second time I've recorded this video. The first one sucked real bad. I was trying to do it vlog style, but I was also just too excited at getting the final product, so I didn't actually think about what I needed to. Anyway, that's by the by. I'm recording it now. This is the one that matters. Overhead rig on a budget. So no C-stand, no nothing, just small room like this. How you can achieve it, the tools you need, how you're gonna do it. Let's jump in. First thing that I will note is I'm using a set of IKEA shelves for this. So a bit of an overview on exactly what this overhead rig is. I've got the set of shelves, which is over there, which has a few shelves which I use for storage. And I was like, okay, so I need a bit of an overhead rig setup. I don't wanna have to buy a C-stand. So what I did was moved to give a massive gap like this, kind of big in the middle, and did some stuff to figure out exactly whether or not that was going to work. Sorry about the squeaky chair. So this set of shelves has been underutilized for quite a while now, so I thought, why not repurpose it into something that I'm actually going to use on a regular basis. And when I'm doing videos like the Andy Cine unboxing that I'm currently working on, this actually came in really handy for doing things like flat lay unboxings that was really well lit. So instead of getting a C-stand, what I decided I was going to do was I was going to repurpose these shelves. I was going to buy a few bits and bobs, and then this way we end up with a much smaller footprint in this tiny room, meaning I don't have to have any more furniture in it. So the first place we're going to start is by mounting the camera. So for this, you're going to need a spigot, which is a 5/8 inch spigot with a 1/4 inch thread at the top. This mounts with screws to the top shelf. I'll leave a link to one I bought on Amazon below, but they're pretty cheap, inexpensive. They're about £10. I did get mine with a magic arm, which is something else you're going to need. And the reason that you're going to need one of these is because once you attach it to the spigot, you can then move the camera up and down, left and right, and twist and stuff. Obviously, if you were just to mount the camera to the spigot, the camera would be facing like on this axis rather than on this axis, so it doesn't really make much sense. So like I said, I've attached the magic arm to this, and then I've attached the camera to the magic arm. What this allows me to do is get a range of shots, so it actually reaches quite close down to the bottom, which will allow me to get some macro shots if I want to capture some fine detail on the things that I am focusing on, or it'll allow me to stay up and nice and wide for if I want to capture something like an unboxing. So let's move on to lighting then. For this, I'm just using my two newer, I can never pronounce it, two newer LED panels. These are the 480 LED panels that I got from Amazon. I bought one originally for like my key light for doing these videos, and then I eventually bought another 3 as a set. I'll leave a link to those in the description as well. I think they're a really good, inexpensive way to set up either a YouTube kind of studio, or if you're doing filmmaking at the beginning like I am, it's a really good way of getting some light into your shots without having to break the bank and going for even something as what's inexpensive as like a Godox SL60, or going as far as getting a Aperture 120D. Now the light that did come off of these was fine as it was, but only fine. So I decided what I'd do is I'd add some diffusion. So for that I purchased a shower curtain from Amazon. This was £3. This was an add-on item, so I had to buy it with everything else. So make sure that you get everything together, otherwise you'll end up having to buy even more stuff that you don't need. And then what I did was I measured out the sides of the shelves, and then I cut 2 strips, and then I screwed it in. So it's going to be there all the time. At the end of the day, I'm not bothered about how it looks from this side, but it's not really that much of a, at least I don't think. No, you can't really notice it, to be honest, most of the time. Like, I'm either facing this way at the computer screen or I'm not in the room. So let's be honest, it's fine the way it is. So far it is shaping up to look pretty good. So I was left with the 2 metal cross beams on this set of shelves, which is obviously quite shelf specific. If you're not using these specific ones, you might not have those, but there is a way around it, and also I'd recommend doing this anyway. So what I did was I went to Hobbycraft and I got some of these. Hold on. So I got 4 of these for £10. They were, so the only reason I got 4 was because I knew I'd use them anyway, because I mean, who doesn't? So those are just 5mm pieces of white foam core. from Hobbycraft, like I said, for £10. What I did was I cut one of those to size and I wedged it at the back. And what this allowed me to do was get a nice bit of reflection of the light back onto the back of the subject to make it evenly lit, but it also gave me a really nice clean background to work with. So after you've added in this last little bit of foam core, you're pretty much there. Like, the general kind of conversion of the shelves into a working overhead rig is yeah, it's done. Like, I mean, if you're doing small product, so I've done like I say, the Andy Cine unboxing, which I'm using right now to look at myself. It's just up here above the Blackmagic. So with that done, now what you can do is you can attach your camera. So from here, you know, you can customize this as much as you want. This is just a general idea to help you get started. So what I then did was I took one of those pieces of foam core and I put it across the bottom. And what that did was it gave me a nice clean white bottom, clean white like table surface, as well as a clean white back. So I essentially had almost like an infinity kind of setup. If you overexpose the white just that little bit, you can actually get rid of the seam in between the two, which I thought was quite handy. Would recommend doing that, especially if you're working with like darker kind of materials, then this can actually work really well. I do, however, intend on getting some colored vinyls. I say colored, I mean like woods, and you know, then some actual like colored pieces of card, and making my own little kind of tabletops to go on top of that shelf, kind of like what I did with the foam core, except with different colors, just to make it look nicer. And then what I also can do is tape it up at the back so that the card comes down, so that you then get that seamless look, evenly lit, and you will actually end up with even more customizability than I originally thought when I planned making this overhead setup. So that's kind of good, really, that it's developed even on further from when I originally planned it. So if you're tight on space and you were looking for something to help you get some overhead shots for pretty much 30 quid, I think it must have cost me, without the cost of the shelves. This is all assuming you have shelves. If not, then there's other ways of doing a camera overhead rig, unless you want to get some shelves and do it this way, because I thought this was quite handy. Either way, I hope you found this helpful. I hope it gave you some inspiration on how to like shop your home for different locations. This is something that I picked up from a channel, Becky and Chris. They very much promote shopping your home for setting up your photos, setting up your videos, finding different locations without having to spend too much money, because at the end of the day, who wants to spend money when you don't need to? So I hope you found this helpful. Don't forget to like the video, get subscribed, and like the bell to stay notified whenever I release a new video. Until the next one though, see ya.